Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered, why do men have nipples? It's one of biology's most common and curious questions. After all, if they don't serve the primary function of breastfeeding, what's the point of them being there? The answer isn't about their function in adult males, but rather about our earliest moments of development. We need to take a journey back in time, all the way to the womb, to understand the fascinating process of human embryology. It all begins with a single fertilized egg, a blueprint containing all the genetic information needed to build a human being. In these first few weeks of life, every embryo, regardless of its genetic makeup, follows the same fundamental development plan. This is a crucial point. Nature starts with a default template. Think of it like a basic car model that comes off the assembly line before any specific features are added. For humans, this early blueprint is fundamentally female in its initial structure. During this early stage, around the 4th or 5th week of gestation, tiny ridges known as mammary ridges or milk lines begin to form on the embryo's chest. These ridges are the very first sign of what will eventually become mammary glands and, of course, nipples. At this point in development, the embryo is essentially gender neutral. It has all the preliminary parts to develop along either a male or female pathway. The nipples develop on this neutral template, long before the processes that determine biological sex even begin. It's only later, around the 6th or 7th week, that the genetic switch for sex determination is flipped. This is where the sex chromosomes, X and Y, come into play. If the embryo has two X chromosomes, XX, it will continue developing along the female pathway. If the embryo has one X and one Y chromosome, XY, a specific gene on the Y chromosome, called the SRY gene, gets activated. The SRY gene stands for sex-determining region Y, and it acts as a master switch, initiating a cascade of genetic and hormonal events. This gene triggers the development of the testes, the male reproductive glands. Once the testes are formed, they begin to produce hormones, most notably testosterone. It's this surge of testosterone that starts steering the embryo's development down the male path. Testosterone is responsible for a whole host of changes, directing the formation of all the internal and external male reproductive structures. It transforms the shared, undifferentiated blueprint into a distinctly male anatomy. But here's the key: by the time testosterone enters the picture and begins its work, the nipples have already been formed. They were part of that initial, default body plan that was laid down weeks earlier. From an evolutionary and developmental perspective, there's simply no reason to get rid of them. The nipples are already there, and in males, they just don't develop any further. They remain as a relic of that early, shared developmental pathway. Think of it as an efficiency model. Development doesn't go back and erase features that are harmless. The energy and complex genetic instructions it would take to specifically remove nipples from male embryos would be incredibly inefficient. Since they pose no disadvantage to a male's survival or ability to reproduce, there's no evolutionary pressure to select against them. They're just a benign, leftover feature from our common embryonic start. This phenomenon is not unique to nipples. We see similar examples of what are called vestigial structures or traits in biology. These are features that have lost their original function through evolution but are still present in an organism. For example, some people are born with a small tail, a remnant of our primate ancestry, which usually disappears during embryonic development. The male nipple is a perfect example of a developmental artifact, a testament to our shared beginning. So, while in females, hormones like estrogen and progesterone during puberty and pregnancy stimulate the mammary glands to fully develop for milk production, in males, these glands remain rudimentary and undeveloped. The nipples are there, but the underlying machinery for lactation is not activated. It's a beautiful illustration of how human development works. We don't start from two completely separate blueprints for male and female. Instead, we all start from a common plan, which is then modified and differentiated by hormones. This shared beginning is a fundamental concept in developmental biology. It shows how closely related the male and female forms are, stemming from the very same origin. The differences we see are the result of a later divergence, driven by a hormonal fork in the road. Understanding this process gives us a deeper appreciation for the complexity and elegance of the human body. It's a story written in our genes and played out in the delicate dance of hormones within the womb. Every person's body tells a story of this journey. The presence of nipples on a man isn't a mistake or a flaw, it's a historical marker, a remnant of the first chapter of our developmental story, written before our sex was even determined. So, the next time you hear this question, you'll know the answer lies not in the present, but deep in our shared past. It's a simple yet profound example of how embryology shapes the bodies we live in. It highlights the efficiency and pragmatism of nature's processes. Why build two different models from scratch when you can build one and then customize it? Men have nipples because we all start out on the same biological path. It's a reminder that the distinctions we often focus on are simply variations on a common theme. Our journey from a single cell to a fully formed human is a marvel of biological engineering, and the male nipple is just one small, fascinating clue to how it all works. If you found this journey into embryology interesting and want to learn more about the amazing intricacies of the human body, be sure to subscribe to Sex Education Repo for more deep dives into the science of us.